Hey, everybody out there. How's everybody doing? Everyone's doing okay? Kind of an unusual stream for us. One sec. Feel free to read the stuff in the background before I really get into talking about it. This stream's gonna be super chill. I'm not gonna be pushing myself to be super entertaining or anything. But just a heads up that this stream is going to be discussing our business, some business moves we're doing going forward, mostly prompted by some stuff that Patreon is doing. And I just wanted to be transparent with everybody and talk about what our plans are and what we'd like to do, circa backer kits and Kickstarters. Anna saw the title of the stream. It was like, "Are we okay?" I was like, "Oh, geez, I didn't mean to hack in." Baradon, it says per pledge payments. Oh, hello out there, Anna. I didn't see you. Oh, geez. But yeah, no, we, everything's good, just so you know, Anna. We, in admin, we've been talking about some possible changes to our business strategy, and everybody in admin agreed that we should make certain changes. And so I wanted to talk about them. To answer your question, Baradon, per pledge payments on Patreon, say that 5 times fast. There are 2 models on Patreon. One is that you get paid monthly, you make your stuff, people sign up for it, and regardless of what you post, everyone is charged once per month for whatever it is you're doing. Then there's the per pledge payment system, which is a bit archaic at this point, and that is that when you post things to your Patreon, you can mark them as charged posts, and that's the idea, is that they are the thing people are there for. And you can charge multiple times per month, and people that sign up for your Patreon can choose how many they're willing to pay for a month. Like they can set the limit to like 3 or whatnot. But it's like, instead of it being, I've signed up for the Patreon for $5 for the month, every month, it's I've signed up for every charged post is charged $5, with the idea being that each of those charged posts is a piece of notable content. On the Project Mouthwash Patreon, we do it that way, and we've always done it that way. That way, if we don't release anything in a month, we don't charge anybody anything. But every time we release like a scene preview, we charge for it individually, and we encourage people to set limits based on what they want. And that is how we have done things over there. So, and Project Mouthwash and Nat19 have a combined funding pool, because Nat19 Project Mouthwash are basically the same company. They both help each other live, although Nat19 is technically, that's the corporation at this point. And due to some issues with Apple, due to the Apple Store, there was a risk last year that the per pledge system was going to disappear entirely because of the way that Apple was forcing Patreon to do things. But then policy was passed that prevented the Apple Store from forcing Patreon to do that, and things were okay. So last November it didn't change. But then Apple got their way again this year, and it looks like it's going to stick. So basically, I don't want to talk about exact numbers. I feel like that'd be a bit gauche. But let's say, these are made up numbers. Let's say that the Project Mouthwash Patreon made $3,000 on one post. And then it would go down every sequential post, right? So like the first one would be $3,000, then people would have set limits. So then the second is like 1,500, and the third is 1,000, and then the fourth and fifth usually go down to like 400 or 300. We normally would do 4 to 6 posts over on that one. So we would get, like, let's, again, throwing random numbers out there. These are inflated for the purposes of conversation. If we made $9,000 per month on the Patreon over there, which, again, we don't, but I'm just throwing those numbers out there. Once this change happens, it would go from $9,000 for 6 paid posts down to $3,000. That's the kind of drop that we're looking at in our funding. Not those exact numbers. Not though those are all inflated. Those are all much higher than the numbers really are. But that's the sort of percentage drop. Our Patreon earnings through Project Mouthwash are going to be going down by a bit more than half. So we will be okay either way. But we want to use this as an opportunity to reevaluate our business strategy. Do we know when this change will happen? November. It'll happen in November. And Patreon has been working with creators, and it's going to be helping us to reach out to people to adjust their pledges to try to minimize the damage as much as possible. Patreon actually doesn't want to make this change, but they have to. But regardless, it's happening, and we can't expect the numbers to stay where they are. At the very least, they will go down. So, since we're focusing more on Nat19 these days anyway, in the context of, like, functioning as a company, we thought this was a good time to pivot and to talk with people and to see where we are, because we also started doing the quarterly splash books. So, as you can see on the plan, trademark behind me, we thought that we might instigate a plan that would rely on doing kind of frequent backer kit campaigns. I.e., the plan is going to be, once we get the last backer kit sorted out, we think we're going to go down the route of every 3 months or so, when we finish a quarterly book, we're going to do a backer kit campaign for a month, like a small one, to try to raise money based on each book and do a print run for each book. They will be as low as $500 to $1,000 goal-wise. We don't have to hit it very high because we can use print-on-demand services to print them. We don't have to do a huge bulk order. But if they do really well, we can up the quality of those individual books as well as use stretch goals to fund things like we could get small soundtracks made for the individual splash books that go along with their themes. And then we could offer those kind of to go with them for people to want to use them. Or we could use stretch goals to fund extra content for the next one. And then the idea being that we do one of these little backer kit campaigns for each of these splash books that we do, these little controlled, isolated print runs every 3 months. And then every year at the end of it, and by the end of it we mean like, you know, February, March, because we don't want to go after people or tap people out while they're in the middle of like Christmas or whatnot. We would do a Kickstarter that is a larger thing that is for an expanded compendium, and I want to use those as a chance to be like 70% compendium, 30% splash or setting guide like stuff, like setting stuff, like really put a lot of extra work into it to take all the splash book work from the previous year and make a compendium out of it. And that is, that's sort of the plan. That's what we talked about it. Hayden, Aaron, myself, and Maroon, who are the admin peoples here in Nat19, we all talked about it, and we think that this seems like a reasonable way to go for us. We think that it jives with what people want. A lot of people want physical copies anyway. It's pretty low risk. It would rely on you guys out there that support our stuff being like every 3 months being repeat supporters for these things to make it really work, but that's up to you guys. I'm confident we make a good product, and I hope you guys agree, so hopefully you'd come back in for it does not mean that, Arcane. Me saying I like pancakes does not mean that I hate waffles. I did not say there would be no big setting guides. I just described this plan. Heckin', there might be larger ones. I personally, for Nat19, I foresee our business strategy being basically always having one book like Zagalta on the go, as well as the splash books going on the side. I don't know if the next Zagalta book is going to be as big as the Zagalta book because, I mean, that's a 400-page book that's just now nearing completion, and being made alongside another 300 pages via the splash books. I don't think I can do 700 pages a year every year like I have been, but I like the idea of always having a thematically focused specific extra book like Zagalta on the go that's kind of a year-round focus. And then having the splash books, which are these incremental, hyper-focused books that end with a compendium that expands on them just a bit. I like the idea of having two things like that kind of on the go at any given time. That way we have one big passion project that's kind of under no one's control and is sort of forming into this big specific thing. And then we have a bunch of bite-sized things that lead up into one big old meal. And that's kind of what I see doing, but our plan would revolve around the splash books. If there's another Zagalta book, that would sort of be outside the plan I'm describing here. Taxes and tariff issues? It's hard to. A big issue we're dealing with right now is like, just in the past week, the tariff issues went away and then came back in a sweeping format, which is just super fucking cool. But we can't really predict them. We are in a position right now where we hope they don't get worse, because if they get any worse than they are right now, then, I don't know. We don't want to delay anything anymore. It's exhausting. But, well, thank you. You know what, actually, give me just 1 second. I should probably also tell Twitter that I'm doing this real quick. Oh, fuck! I didn't mean to open Facebook! Get out of here! Oh, I don't want to go there! Heckin', my grandparents are dead, but I'm pretty sure I'll bump into them on there. Currently doing, chill. Talking. Twitch.tv/19. Nah, boom. Okay, boom. The capybara. Thank you, fucking. All I wanted was a capybara to follow me. So what was I saying? It says this. I don't want to be the serial workaholic. I should probably put the chat up on stream somewhere if I can help it. 1 sec, just so that people can like see what's going on. This is kind of an impromptu stream, so I apologize. Do I have chat? It's only going to be one of the chats. Also, I just realized I can only see the Twitch one. I need to... There we go. If anyone's popping in from the other one, I should be able to see them now. Boom. There. People should be able to... I'm gonna make this a bit smaller, just so that it's not taking up too much space. I just killed it, apparently. There it is. Boom. Yeah, fuck, what was I saying? The tariffs, they're exhausting. And we're a relatively small company overall. Like, we've done some things I'm really proud of, but oh my god. I'm just gonna talk about this freely for a minute, because we've talked about it a lot internally, obviously, but I'd love to talk about this, like, here. I apologize if anyone out there has not been happy with the way that Nat19 has reacted to or been able to navigate the tariff issue. The Kickstarter was a very big thing. Like, the Lyra's Guide Kickstarter was pretty huge for a first Kickstarter. It was wildly successful because people were incredibly kind. And we did it when the market in this regard was stable, when it was predictable, when we could figure out what was going to happen and there weren't all these extra taxes that we didn't foresee happening. And then it seems like the moment we got to a point where we were ready to, like, properly start nailing these things down in shipping, which I'm actually glad that we didn't at the time, because we ended up refining the books in a lot of ways that made them a lot better, and I'm happy for that. We were presented with an unprecedented situation that none of us were prepared for, that Kickstarters that came before did not have to deal with. Like, we've been told horror stories by other creators, because we reached out to, and I've talked to, like, people who have run other companies and other publishing houses and whatnot, and I've been like, how are you dealing with these things? And I won't say the name of who it was, but one of them was like, yeah, so it's a fairly big name one, but I don't want to, obviously throw anything they said in confidence. I don't want to attach it to a name. They're like, yeah, so we ran a similar big Kickstarter, and we got our books, and they're printed, and they're published, and they're getting to sit in a warehouse in Europe until this situation resolves itself, because it would bankrupt our company to ship them. And I've been like, yep, cool. And that's like an established printing house. It's wild and stupid. Oh, my chat stopped scrolling. So we're doing our best. It's fine. I don't want to get too political. I mean, I won't lie. I'm not a big fan of America right now, but I feel like nobody in our sphere would, not understand that. Heckin', but it's been troublesome, and it's been hard, and it's been very difficult to navigate. Be shorter for the books. But anyway, just to get off of that, I am sorry if the fact that it's taken so long to print. There's a lot of assurances people have given us. Like, a lot of people point out that, like, for how big the books are, Kickstarters like this usually take years to fulfill anyway. Well, cool. It doesn't make any of us any happier. It doesn't make any of us not wish that we could have, like, blasted through this thing and did it better than anyone did before, It's exhausting. But we're doing our best, right? It's bad. I mean, I'm going to be real with everybody. We're accounting for it in our future campaigns. Just to answer the original question, anything we do from this point on, we are accounting for what the tariffs look like and the worst case, and we're pricing things to avoid the issues. But if the tariffs get any worse than they are right now, we may also have to take the we need to wait this out position. We're hoping that doesn't happen, but we're looking at it. For the backer kit one we just did, no one's gonna have to pay tariffs on those. We know we can absorb those, and we will, unless they suddenly increase the tariffs up to like a 50% global tariff or something. But anything that we do moving forward, we're going to rely on having a in-country POD option that wouldn't work for something like the big Kickstarters. But it does work for smaller runs, and if those smaller runs end up scaling up, they account for it. So we're accounting for them. We're thinking about them. Okay, Bear. I mean, yeah, we have a proofreader. A lot of times people point out grammar mistakes and stuff, and they're just not. We're more so, this is more so a talk about the business stuff. This is not so much for that. I mean, ideally, the books, we have a proofreader right now that's going through them and whatnot and looking at that stuff, but I mean, I don't know what to tell you beside yes. It's unfortunately also been a plague of we frequently get people sending us emails being like, here's a document of grammar mistakes and like improperly written things in the books, and I don't know how to tell people this. A lot of times people are right and they help us catch things. A lot of times people are just very confidently wrong. Like, very confidently. But it is what it is. That's part of any public content creation thing. We do have a proofreader that goes through our stuff now that we brought on, Sean Fox, member of our community, who they're also the person making the Foundry stuff. They are doing a really good job. They're catching a lot of things. We actually have 2 waves, basically, of proofreading. We have when the manuscript is done, we do the proofreading for that at that stage. Then things go to the InDesign documents, and then that first stage is the copy editing stage, and we have someone that's good for that. They came on as of like the start of the Splash books. They don't really look out for technical grammar though, as in like mechanical stuff. And then we have someone afterward when the books are like set that goes through them and is more minded toward being able to. Thank you so much for all the subs, by the way, everyone. Oh my god. We have somebody that goes through and specifically looks for grammar, B, consistency in technical aspects and the writing for stat blocks and stuff like that. So it's been a big help because I can write a lot, but my main issue is I move very fast and very quickly. So I'm glad to have these 2 waves of people behind me. Yeah, we got 2 editors now, so it's good. Foxy's also allowing us to bring our stuff to Foundry. Sean Fox is letting us bring our stuff to Foundry, which I simply don't have time to do. So that's also good. That said, does anybody... I'm trying to keep up with questions. I probably should have created some kind of form for Atlas Forge! Thank you for the sub! Probably should have created some kind of thread for people to be able to submit things. But outside tariff talk, which, blech, tariffs, does anybody have any questions, or is there anything anybody would like to talk about regarding the business plan that is outlined on the side? Is it something that you guys think you'd be behind? Is it something that, would you be excited for the idea of having higher quality print runs, like a quarterly year backer kit? The first one we would do it with would be the Soul of Trickery, which is the book that is coming out, the one that is like Lushu's Guide transformed. Which has become much more than Lushu's Guide. I'm very, very excited about it. But that would be the first one we would do. We would fulfill the last backer kit, and we'd probably start with this one. When I say after, by the way, when I say after the books come out, I don't mean immediately as soon as the book is done, we would do the backer kit for it. There'd probably be like the AMA point usage. That's right. I forgot about those. We could use those. Hold on. I'm gonna bring that up. And you know what? While I'm in here, I'm gonna also switch the music to be hold on. Switch the vibe up a little. Let's see. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna see if I can find that 1 second, because people might be able to submit questions through the AMA system, and if they can, then that makes things easier. Also, you'll be seeing a lot more of this model I got going on in the near future. Where is the channel analytics? Where? 1 second, I have to navigate Twitch's back end. And I'm not even taking it out to dinner. Where is settings? I think it's under viewer rewards, isn't it? One moment while I find this. I don't use Twitch for much except the very straightforward stuff. Oh, Flinty, thank you. If we could guarantee that every 3 months we could have $1,000 in support through these backer kits, then we would guarantee the success of this business model. Realistically, if we want to make up for the Patreon drop, and this is an overcorrection, I just want to say, realistically, if each one of these things every 3 months got to $9,000, then we would, to make up for the issue with Patreon and more. Based on previous campaigns, that seems possible, but I also, don't want to put any carts before any horses. I'm trying to... Where did I... Things really have changed since Logan became a VTuber? Oh, you said it. Where's the fucking thing? I'm trying to find... I'm trying to... find the... Oh, I think I remember where it is. It's Scuff. As soon as I become a fucking VTuber, Scuff starts happening. That's what's for dinner. Alright. I can where would it be? It'd be here. It'd be highlight my message, send a message, unlock a message, choose, modify single, card draw. Manage rewards. This just took me back to where I was. This isn't helping at all. Power up and channel points. Okay. I found them, but I have not found... Oh, wait. Highlight my message. Nat19 AMA! Okay, boom! Good, okay. You should now be able to submit an Ask Me Anything. Now I gotta remember where they fucking go. You know the fun thing about this VTuber model though? Model, I say, is if I want to, I can still go back to being this. I can still go back to being this little guy. Ain't nothing can stop me from being this if I want to. I'm gonna be this for a minute. I'm gonna block out a little bit of the text. I'm gonna be this little guy. Highlight my message. Oh, review requests? Yes. Okay. All right, everybody. If anybody has any requests that they want to send in, any questions, then please use the Ask Me Anything reward. I'm going to temporarily make it 0, so you can ask. Oh, it can't be 0. I'm going to make it 10. Yeah, it's 50. 50's fine. If you have any questions pertaining to this, or you have any other questions pertaining to our current business model or expectations or anything that's going to happen in the near future in Nat19, then oh, Aaron, you're sub now. Nice. Heck in. If you have any questions regarding any of that, then feel free to submit them, and I will attempt to answer them. There are over 100 card draw requests, which means I can select all, and I can mark as complete. Yes. Good. Yeah, if you guys want to ask stuff in chat, though, if there's nothing in the AMA section, then I'll prioritize asking stuff from here. And I'll move this over here as well so I can see it a bit better.
I thought it was going to be easier to just say this. So a really cool thing you can do with rewards is that you can hit the checkbox to skip the queue so that you don't have to worry about hitting complete and all that stuff. You can do that for the cards.
Yes.
That way it just deducts the points and you don't have to worry about approving anything in the dashboard.
I see a button that is letting me select everything that's on the screen, and I can just keep hitting complete, and do like 50 of them at a time.
You're on the creator dashboard, right? Or the stream manager.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you're on stream manager. So really cool thing you can do with the rewards, because you're on the rewards request queue of that area, right?
Yes, I can show you what I'm looking at if you want to be sure that we're talking about the same thing.
You absolutely can, and then I can also guide you to just
I'm looking at this.
Never have to worry about that. Yeah, that's pretty much what that is. That's the reward queue. So when you're in your creator dashboard and stuff, and you go to like viewer rewards and where your channel points are and stuff.
Okay, so creator dashboard, viewer reward, channel points, Yep, viewer rewards and power up and channel points.
Yes, power up and channel points. You're gonna look for whichever channel point reward. In this case, you can go to the cards, and when you hit edit, and it gives you that whole like edit a custom reward folder or window.
Yeah.
Going down to the bottom, there's a toggle for skip reward request queue. If enabled, only future viewer requests will skip the queue for review. This makes it so that you never have to worry about that having to approve that reward anymore.
Oh, neat. Okay, done. Cool.
Yeah, so that way you don't have to worry about 100+ card draw requests. We'll just go through.
They're built up since the beginning of when we started doing the cards.
Yep. Yep. So you will still have to approve all of those if you haven't, but any future ones afterwards, they won't end up on the queue anymore.
I just realized.
You should probably do that with Flex and Giga Flex as well.
Yes. You give good advice.
The reason they have these queue requests is for things like AMA, where it's like, hey, if I didn't get to your question, I will be refunding your points now.
Also, I just noticed that the questions were paused, so I apologize to everyone while I was being like, all right, so submit your questions. It was, the queue was paused. Okay, boom, boom, done. Cool. I set all of the other ones to automatically redeem, so thank you so much.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I was gonna go off and do my own thing just as I saw you started streaming, and I was like, oh well, you know, the friend courtesy is to wait 30 minutes before diving into the pool.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I alarmed you with the fucking. We're good. I wanted to have like a transparency talk with everyone and be like, this is what we think we're gonna do.
No, understandable, but I hope you understand why I thought what I thought.
Yes, I do. And that's all we need to say about that.
We're not gonna worry about that.
Yes,
everything's fine.
Okay.
Don't use your burning questions to talk about that. I'll ban you.
We're gonna talk about only what the streams talk. I'm gonna switch back to my model. Boom.
Exactly.
All right, heck in.
Bye.
Bye. Let's see. Which of the Splash books has been my favorite so far? I'm gonna just go down this list as it comes up. Okay. My favorite of the Splash books so far. It's hard. It's either Three Gentle Sins or Paraprismatic, but I think it's Three Gentle Sins. That one feels the most thematically cohesive and also the most like something you could use in kind of any campaign. Like you could plug that thing into a Curse of Strahd campaign and use all of it if you wanted to. But the Paraprismatic I think is also super useful. In that, by the way, anyone that wants to do the AMA thing, it's only on the side of the Twitch side, I'm afraid. The Paraprismatic, though, I think I like the actual content of the most. However, the Paraprismatic and Three Gentle Sins, they are the most of the AI issue that we bumped into recently, where we had to replace a bunch of shit because it turned out one of our artists, who we had asked about it before, was using Gen AI in at least some of their work, so we immediately removed them from our workflow and have been spending a fuck ton of money and time replacing all of their work, because we don't want to stand for that, which has slowed us up a whole bunch. So the only scuff on those books is that they had the most from them. But yeah, I'm gonna say probably Three Gentle Sins. That's probably my favorite. Boom. What will the backer kit options be like? Will there be physical print options for these splash guides? Well, that's the point. The backer kit books will be... it'll be after the books are done. These will be for physical rewards. These will be for physical versions of these splash books. If like sales are under around, let's spitball $3,000 on each, then we will have to use print-on-demand services to fulfill. But if they're over that, then we can go through a printing partner who can make a lot more books for a lot less in much higher quality. So, and it also mean that we have a shit ton of them and we can charge less for them on our store and whatnot. That is the way we're gonna. That's that. So yeah, there will be physical print options. We'll probably limit them to like soft cover up to a goal and then switch them all to hardcover after that, just to avoid different printing batches. But this is geared toward physical rewards. With potentially moving to a backer kit model, will this cause any changes to the Patreon membership benefits? Not at all. Everything on Patreon, on the Nat19 Patreon, will remain exactly the same as it is. None of that has to change. This is only geared toward specifically changing how we do crowdfunding campaigns and doing them more frequently. This is not affecting the Patreon. I'd like to note that in the plan on the side here, it's not the Nat19 Patreon that's the issue. It's the Project Mouthwash Patreon that's the issue. The Nat19 Patreon is going to remain exactly the same as it is. Nothing changes there. The membership benefits remain the same. People still get the free PDF copies of everything. If they're at the right tiers, they can still make suggestions to add stuff to the books. All of this is in addition. Hey Logan, how you doing? Wink, wink. I'm doing pretty dang good. I mean, apart from Patreon being weird and the stress of life and tears, but I'm overall doing pretty dang good. How are you? Heckin', boom. Lyra X Scandal or Tantia X Scandal, which do you want more? Is there a third Scandal ship you want? We're just asking me about Yuri now. Well, of those, Lyrax scandal. And I mean, there's a lot, like Tekken, I love it when the pretty people kiss, so it doesn't matter who it is. But if I'm gonna comment on what's on my plate, Lyrax scandal. I don't know what this question's for, but fucking pop off. Out of curiosity, what a theoretical Honokuni setting book or splash book sized or compendium. So a Honokuni book, if it's going to encompass, like, how to put this? I could make a Honokuni book that is only the stat blocks of things, the lore of Honokuni, stat blocks for the individual people and monsters that were there, and that would probably be a big splash book. But if I made a campaign book, that would be a whole Zagalta-sized ass Kickstarter, because that campaign, I mean, I'm not going to say I made Curse of Strahd or anything as exhaustive, but it would probably be kind of around that general size of book. Like, it would be 300 to 400 pages. So that would be its own big old thing. It'd be a compendium or full project-sized one. So that's the answer to that one. I don't know if we'll do that. I want to do a Honokuni book someday. I want to get more into writing campaigns and adventures. It's actually one of my plans right now, is I want to get more into doing that specifically than just... I want to write as much content to use, but I want to actually give people things to use it in. And I'm hoping that my plan, this is a digression from the questions. My plan has been that I want each splash book that comes out to have its own twist. That means, like, it's been small at first. Like, Lana's had the dice game, Dead Saint Record had the Dragon Duel, Three Gentle Sins had, what did it have? It had something. I can't remember what it was. Three Gentle Sins had something special in it. And then Paraprismatic, heckin' had like a lot of plain stuff. Soul of Trickery's thing is that it's a Lucia remake. I want the next one. I want one of the next books this year to have an adventure in it. To have like a dungeon, even if it's a small one, in the book. And that's something I want to shoot for, and then I slowly want to get up into writing more campaigns and stuff. We have some stuff going on the back end that's not being done by me that's tied into that, but I can't give a timeline for, like, when it's going to be. So what is the issue that's facing the Patreon exactly? Is it affecting current memberships or new ones? Again, no. The issue is that the Project Mouthwash Patreon is what is called a per-pledge payment Patreon, which means that instead of paying a guaranteed once per month, if a creator, us, posts something and marks it as a charged like a paid post, charged post, then you would pay whatever you signed up for as many times per month as those are posted. So here's a piece of content in this post, pay for it. And on the Project Mouthwash one, we reserve that for scene previews or media. Sometimes we do writing posts if it's like, we want to be paid for the hours we spent writing a thing, like writing stuff. We also charge once per month to pay for the fees to host our Google Drives and whatnot. But due to some Apple interference, Patreon has to ditch that model, which means it's going down to all monthly in November, which means that we are not going to be able to count on the extra income that comes from a bunch of extra posts. But that's only on the Patreon side for Project Mouthwash, not for Nat19. However, the funding pool is combined, so it will affect it. So we are making adjustments to try to move our financial business model more toward Nat19, which is also just something we've been wanting to do for a while anyway. I love abridging. I love being an online goofy anime VO, but for quite some time, I've wanted to avoid a reality where YouTube makes one change to how they handle like anime parodies and suddenly we can't do them anymore. I want mostly to tie our finances into Nat19, and this all is an effort towards stress testing if we can count on Nat19's content to pay our bills more than relying on the anime parody channel. However, we don't want to waste the anime parody channel, and we're not going to stop working on it. We are going to start streaming, as of JJ beginning, our next campaign, we are going to start streaming over there as well, which might annoy some people, because a bunch of fans on abridged channels typically are like, why are you doing anything else? And whatever. We do both. It's the reality of the thing. So we're going to also hope to convert some people from over there. The short answer, if you're talking about the Nat19 Patreon, no changes. Are the campaigns for the books to be separate than the longer campaigns? Yes, please see the Plan TM on the side beside me. It would be 4 smaller backer kit campaigns through the year, and then at the start of each year, 1 larger Kickstarter campaign for a compendium, and this is all separate from any other big things like Zagaltas that we do. Like I said earlier, my preferred model is we're doing 1 big thing like Zagaltas per year, and then doing the quarterly splash books, each with its own backer kit campaign, and then also 1 Kickstarter campaign that would be for the compendium for those things. So basically there'd be 2 Kickstarters, 1 for a compendium, 1 for another book per year, and 4 backer kits to support the individual books. How much do the PDF purchases help you? If you mean on DriveThruRPG, they help us a great deal. They are one of our main sources of income in Nat19. They're huge. They help us so much. They help to pay for new stuff. They are basically the lifeblood that helps us determine if people want to see more, and people typically do. I'd say they are probably the largest source of income that we have outside crowdfunding. So a lot. If you mean the PDF purchases on the Kickstarter and backer kit campaigns, ditto. It's like, I mean, considering we don't have to print anything for PDF purchases, it's just pure support as far as we're concerned. So very, very helpful. Have you ever thought of doing a DMS book? I kind of have, though. I've been releasing the DMS content slowly through all the other books. At this point, there's not enough uniquely DMS content to put into just 1 book. I mean, Lilith, the Serpent of Lust, Caliber Hound, the Avatar of Mundus, etc., they've all kind of been co-opted into the other books. I've been disseminating them slowly into them. Hello?
Meow.
Hey, Aaron. Did I spill a corporate secret? Am I in trouble? He's not telling me.
There it is. I'm at...
What?
And then you cut out.
What? I cut out.
Oh yeah, I touched my Go XLR and moved it, and it wiggled.
Oh, I said sorry. When you popped in, I was like, oh, sorry. Did I spill a corporate secret? Am I in trouble?
Yes, I'm here to get you.
Oh, jeez.
The council has sent me.
The council? The council.
Mm-hmm. The council.
The council has sent. The council sends rich regards.
Chat, I might as well come hang out with you. So you got more things to bounce off of.
Yep. Let me quickly get your reactive and throw it up on here. Aaron and your reactive is just a cat right now.
It's me. Hi.
I'm just gonna put you down here. I don't even think it's reacting. Is this the right one? Hold on.
Me? I'm just a little.
Oh, it's bouncing a little bit. Okay. Fuck. Brain. So the DMS thing. There's probably not going to be a Devil May Cry book because we don't own that IP, but the stuff that's in it is slowly being disseminated through other books. At some point, I'll probably release the style point system in something, but I wouldn't hold my breath, and I'm not making any promises. Do DriveThruRPG or Nat19 merch purchases help more? Depends on the item, but broadly speaking, the purchases on our website help us more because we get 100% of the money, whereas on DriveThruRPG, we have a 70-30 cut with DriveThruRPG, which is also why with our retail books going up on DTRPG, you'll notice they're more expensive on there. It's because it's the price of the book on our website adjusted for their cut. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite class you've designed for 5.19? Well, so we're asking about the Sword Saint, the Petal Knight, the Favorite Soul, the Inscriptor, and now the Dragoneer. I'm probably gonna say I haven't seen people play the Favorite Soul enough to have a solid opinion. And the Dragoneer, I haven't seen it. And the Blood Minister, you're right, and the Blood Minister. I think the Dragoneer will be, but I need to see people play it more outside of hypothetical insulated playtest situations.
Yeah, we also gotta go long term, because like if we looked at ubiquity, it would be Sword Saint, but that's just because it's been around the longest. But also, when you see like the enthusiasm people have for the Inscriptor, you're like, oh, maybe that.
Yep.
And then if it's just your favorite, it's like, I don't know, I gotta see them all.
Yep. I think probably it's going to be the Dragoneer. Right now, it's probably gotta... probably the Inscriptor right now. But I think the Dragoneer, if I saw it in motion more, I'd probably choose it. From the Nat19 Pantheon, if you had to swear allegiance to a higher power, who would you choose? Lyric. Lyric is from the Zagalta book. Some of you know who Lyric is. Some of you don't. I mean, that's also a flawed question, because you're looking at one of them. You're looking at one of them right here. Setanta's from the fucking Pantheon. I swear allegiance to myself, thanks. And also Lyric. I understand why.
They'd probably just be the fucking twins. It'd be vanilla shit. I'd be like, I don't know, actors. I like them. They're pretty, and they make me want a troubadour.
Fucking Tiquin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's a good choice. Okay, so this might have been answered in the book, but what's the relationship between the Heavenbreaker and Setanta? The same thing that is my relationship with the Azure Crow. They are the same person. Heckin' boom. Just started playing a Heavenbreaker. Any advice on how to Heaven Max the most?
I saw that earlier.
Wear sunglasses at all times while playing D&D, whether or not you're at your computer or at your table. Have red tinted sunglasses. You got these. Make sure you got some of these. Get a bunch of these on. All right. And beyond that, I don't have anything immediately. Pump charisma. Charisma is going to be super important for your stuff. And I don't have anything off the top of my head to say specifically how to break it, but make big, bold choices. Thank you for the sub, Cavalian. All right. Do you have any description for Saint weapons, or can we come up with their own? Well, I mean, which Saint weapons? Because pretty much every Saint weapon I've referenced has a picture in the book it's in. Do you mean, do I have a guide on how to design them? That's kind of a touch and go thing. Design the same way you'd build an artifact, but always have the class they're intended for in mind, and the focus feature that they each have, which is like, you know, it's like if this is the blue metal one, it'll have a trait called blue metal focus, which is if you are a blue metal sword saint and attuned to it, it does these things. Those always include, they build on the abilities of the sword saint subclasses, usually making them a little bit easier or reducing their cost. They let you use your Sword Saint focus DC for the abilities of the artifact if it's higher, and they also always increase one stat by 2 and one stat by 1 to the benefit of the class. So keep that in mind. Keep those in mind. Beyond that, it's kind of a Wild West, make whatever. You've got to be able to make artifacts to make those. There's unfortunately only so much you can do beyond being like, make content, make it good, then make it within this template. Which is your least favorite class to write for, and why is it the Artificer? It's not the Artificer, because that would imply I write for the Artificer. We can't, and I refuse in that order. My least favorite to write for is the Monk. Actually, we had to talk about this in the Nat19 Discord recently, and it's a long conversation, so I won't go back into it too much. The Monk is my least favorite class in D&D, along with the Druid. And it's not because I don't like them. This list should be seen more as least liked, not most disliked, even though those are the same thing. But I've never been terribly excited by the Monk. It does a lot of things, and none of them really pop off for me. The flavor of the Monk doesn't really tickle my brain. And in case anybody's gonna ask, I won't get too deep into it, the reason I don't like the Druid is because the Druid requires so much text upkeep, because like, The druid is the ultimate perpetrator of your DM will handle it, in that people that start to play the druid
Summons and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, fucking it's the class that has all the vanilla, like, roll a die, summon this many CR2 beasts, your DM will know what to do. And then either you're breaking open the monster manual to look for, like, you're like, there's wolves and bears, what else is there? And the GM's
it's
like,
a minor tangent on that, because that's also the longest standing misinterpretation of any spell in 5e, where everyone's like, I want to summon the 5 fairies, 5 dinosaurs, and or whatever, they turn them all into
do the
flying
sprites
T-Rexes.
so they can polymorph us into T-Rexes, shit, yeah.
And that implies they have control over it, but the spell specifically is like, no, your DM picks. And like, you think that would be better than letting your party have 4 flying T-Rexes, but honestly, having to pick whatever fae, you're like, I don't know, what do you want, man?
Yep.
I don't care.
So there's that issue. The fact that they're also preparation casters, and I think there's too many preparation casters in the game. I personally think that druids should have like a sorcerer-like limited list, but I think that the list should be more flavorful, personally. I also just don't generally like preparation casters because they add a lot of extra time and thinking, and it's also not like a video game.
It's what makes clerics and druids harder for new players,
and
I think.
and wizards too. Wizards are a weird compromise, but there's still kind of that problem. And then also, the theme of all these questions, by the way, is that they're new player traps, new table traps. Then there's also the issue with Wild Shape, in that it is the most, I thought it could do this feature in D&D. Because, like, when you do Wild Shape, almost always when someone's playing a druid for the first time, they're like level 2, and they're like, I want to turn into a fish and swim away. And you're like, you can't do that. You can't swim. Even if it seems like a basic thing, the thing you turn into can't swim. Like, I want to turn into a hawk. Do the cool thing. I want to turn into a hawk. You can't do that either. I want to turn into a bugbear. According to the rules, you're not a bugbear. I want to turn into an owlbear. According to the rules, you can't. I'm gonna let you, but you can't. You're like, it's the most. Okay, let's just hand wave this. Otherwise, if you know how to play them, none of these are issues. My issue with it is that the onboarding for one is you basically have to have no idea what you're doing the whole first time you run a druid, and then maybe you'll like it in the future.
I'm excited. Druid's the last on my checklist, and I've played every vanilla class, and then I can finally do something else, or I'll just go back to my favorites.
And I don't like, and just to reiterate the question, I don't like making subclasses for the monk in particular. I don't mind making them for druid. I don't like the monk in particular because the monk is so fucking just a fighter with a different flavor when it comes to mechanics that I'm like, you give them cool energy things, and that's about the best you can ultimately do. Like, especially the way I write them, because I write anime as fuck shit. Like, it's very hard to not be like, they're a Saiyan, moving on. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's literally, I've the one subclass I've been tinkering with for like 2 years now, and it's just Akuma.
And I do them, like I make them, but I definitely have to spend the most time when I make books being like, all right, somebody wants monk, so I'll look at it being like, okay, what do I do? I'm very happy with the paraprismatic one, which is basically me being like, famously, the fucking the elements monk sucks. In the paraprismatic, the monk in that was my answer to that question. People can go check that out on their own time. But that's my answer to that.
Had to retool that like 9 million ways from Sunday.
The Lyra Kickstarter had a level 1 to 5 module as a stretch goal. Is that being worked on, or is that on the shelf? It's on the shelf, and also, if I recall, the reason it's on the shelf is because our actual funding, once we got the payout, went back below that stretch goal. So we're not doing it because we didn't actually hit that funding goal, ultimately.
Yeah, broke it, and then things didn't go through because sometimes people
Yep.
pledge and then
Don't pay.
life happens, and it sucks when it does, but it's the reality of it.
Why did you make the Kitsadria so fun and awesome and perfect? I can't make new characters right now without fighting the urge to make all of them at least somewhat kits. Suffer. Is there a splash book theme you're interested in trying out?
I want to talk about, we've had conversations, Logan and I, where it's like, Kitsadria must be like pretty darn rare. Anyways, new fucking Nat19 campaign. I wonder who's gonna be a Kitsadria.
It's a staple that every one of our games always has a Kitsadria, with the exception of DMS. By the way, just so everyone knows, the next campaign also is gonna have a Kitsadria. It's like, it's a mandate. Every party in Somnus Domina needs to have a Kitsadria.
it's the you use the same logic we talk about when people are like, well, yeah, what Ichigo's like so fucking special because he's the main character. It's like, well, of course he is. If he wasn't special, then he would just die.
Yeah, we wouldn't focus on him if he wasn't neat. Fucking. Is there
for the Cassandra?
Is there a splash book theme you're interested in trying out? I want to make, and this might be 2027's project. I want to make quarterly splash books that each focus on like 3 of the provinces of Sermonway and go over like the succession armaments and the beasts of bestowal, which is what I'm calling Idolos now, by the way. Go over all that and do that stuff. So I think like a year of Sermonway themed books is kind of where I'm going, but this year, apart from Paraprismatic, the theme is a bit different. I guess I can spoil it because people will know it is in the next one. The next 3 splash books, including this one, are each going to focus on content related to one of the Fellowship of Deep Water Eidolons. It's going to focus on them, as well as one of the Divine Beast Gods, which is what Seiryu no Tenkei was one of. And then the compendium, if we do it at the end of the next year, which we will, as far as I'm concerned, it will add the 4th one in. So in a weird way, this next compendium is going to be the 4 Divine Beast Gods, the 4 Eidolons of the Fellowship of Deep Water, and also include the 4 Paraprismatic deities. It's going to be a pretty god-wise stacked book. But yeah, so that's a theme I'm tackling right now, and then I think next year might be Sermonway stuff. Maybe. Don't hold me to that. It's just a thought. Can we ask mechanical questions about classes here for the AMA? Sure. If I don't want to answer them, I just won't. What were you saying, Aaron?
Oh, I remember we were just talking about one point about doing like a book that was just spells and be like, here is the Somnian token, like Wizard Book Volume 1, and just having a wall in it. I'm like, it'd kind of be the same thing of ages and ages ago. This is like I don't think we were alive. Not even Wizards, TSR made like a book of gods, and I'm like, one day there probably will be enough stuff that you could technically just be like, all right, so maybe you don't want to buy every single thing to get all of the deities.
Yes,
Here
absolutely. I think
the divinity.
I think like after like fucking by 2027, 2028, we'll be in a position where we can start taking our content and refocusing it and being like, here is the God and Divine Stuff book. Also, just for everyone's context and what Aaron was just talking about, I kind of, because I'm sick of the fucking the OGL and like what is and is not in the SRD, I'm thinking about going through and just making a book of all the spells that are in the SRD and making Somnus Domina versions of them, like applying the way that we do upcasting to all of them, and then while I'm going through remaking every single spell that's not in the SRD to one of our own versions, and then also re-including every spell that we've made into it and being like, this is the Somnus Domina circa 2027 spell book. It's just spells. Boom. However many pages. This is the stuff. But obviously
that
is
more than a project.
Obviously it's a huge clerical undertaking, so I don't know. But yeah. Trinity. You mentioned like a long time ago in a previous AMA, I think, that you wanted to tell the story of the Heavenbreaker Sword Saint in some way in the future, if I remember correctly, even bringing up the idea of possibly writing a book. Has this been something actually seriously considered? I think stories in Somnus Domina. Well, the thing is, that individual is right here, baby! Fucking Satanta is that guy. This is the Heavenbreaker, Satanta. The Zygalt playtest material's been out long enough to kind of get the idea of his story. He's an idolic deity. He's a space-themed idolic deity that has spent his entire history facing and fighting fucking Outer Titans and protecting specifically Somnus Domina, but the universe in general from it. But yes, I do want to make it was a visual novel was the idea specifically. I'd like to make a visual novel about his adventures as a mortal and how he got to that point. That's a project I've had in my mind. I expect Satanta will play into campaigns and whatnot before we ever get to that, but I do want to do it. I just need to sit down and do it, which there's not a lot of time these days. Ugh. Goodness.
There's always a thing. It's like, no matter what, there's always something that needs to be done.
Let's see, from YouTube, which party in every campaign in Nat19 would win in a fight? Right now, the DMS crew. Like, hands down.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, DMS crew. Unless the Vestige crew was in the Sword of Damocles. If we count that as part of the stuff they can use, then probably
They have a
them.
Fucking wicked, sick, nasty opening round.
They would fucking the DMS crew versus the Sword of Damocles would be a fight that would be really crazy to watch. I gotta be real. Will you put style point mechanics in one of your books? Will you wear wigs? When will you wear wigs?
When will you wear wigs?
I think I answered
this
this
style
earlier.
mechanic reminded me of. This is, maybe just because I've been playing it, but Guy in Expedition 33 with the style mechanic or the fucking perfection mechanic reminds me of his stuff.
Yep. To answer that question,
Which,
I might.
Yeah, of course.
I might include the style point mechanic in something in the future. I don't know. I can't promise that it'll happen at any certain point. It'll be an optional rule in any case, but I might include it in things where I'm like, the point of this campaign is to be ridiculous. Because that's really what the style point mechanic is for. It's, I want this to be ridiculous, but still be D&D. Will you, Logan, play in a campaign again? I hope so. There's none on the table right now for me, but I hope I get to play D&D again someday. Instead of just tormenting these people that allow me to torment them. Do you plan on reintroducing your Fates classes in future stuff? That's pretty much just the Magus and the Clergy. Not really. Not really at all. We're not going to focus on Type Moon content again, especially with the recent stuff that happened since we don't have like this full cast.
Yeah, it would be very difficult. We can't finish the story we started telling, so if we go back and starting a new thing,
yeah.
And why at this point? All we're doing is entering a legally gray area with what we do.
Yep.
To stuff we can't make books about anyways.
It'd be cool to do again someday. I definitely have a part of my brain that wants to do a Bleach campaign someday, so it's like I'm not against doing other IPs, but we also couldn't focus on doing anything with them. Like, we couldn't try to incorporate them into our business strategy, and I think it's better to focus on the cool
takes us
thing we
away from
built.
our main thing, so it becomes it becomes like a willing dalliance, which is, you know, we should have fun. That's the point of what we do as well. And so, yeah, Bleach campaign sounds sick.
Yep. And also the Magus and the Clergy there's cool things about them, but they're also incredibly rough around the edges. I think I'd like to put that energy into just making more stuff. Because the Clergy is basically, here's your Type Moon flavored cleric paladin, and the Magus was, here's all the mages together. And I'm just not looking to remake that. Samsoni, will you do minis again? Yeah, I'd probably do like a Kickstarter or backer kit specifically to raise money to do mini STLs instead of doing them on our own dime in the future. But I'm down for it.
Yeah.
But it's not on the docket.
Yeah,
What
because
is-
the printing solutions for that were a nightmare. I remember contacting people. We found like a group that was kind of good.
Yep,
we made a bunch herself, and that was of mixed results. Anything fragile, like wings.
We have the means to make them. We have a company we could work with to make them out of plastic and whatnot, and they'd be good and durable, but we would have to make a lot of them at once. That's the issue.
That's the other thing. Is that the scale at which you have to produce them versus how much people actually want or need?
We'd have to make thousands of each per print order to make it worth it, and we hope those would sell. But that's why we would do like a Kickstarter, I think, to make sure the money's there up front. What is the Dragoneer? Can you shill it? So the Dragoneer is basically, if you played Legend of the Dragoon, it's pretty much a Dragoon. In that sense, it's not exactly that, but it's kind of that. It's a class that every subclass kind of builds you into a different class, like gives you different hit dice, spells, etc. It's that mixed with a little bit of primordial Elden Ring spice and then some extra stuff out of my brain. It's basically you channel the essence of a dragon's soul in some capacity, and as you level up, you can do things like you choose a type of dragon and you get an ability and their element, and you can do a breath weapon and you do extra elemental damage, and you heckin' get wings around level 10 and etc. It's basically, the easiest way to explain it is you can play a Dragoon from Legend of the Dragoon. That's That is the intention. It's a high DPS class for anyone who like looks into it. And I was like, man, this thing hits hard. That is the point. That is what it is intended to do. That is a feature. When is Aaron DMing again? Will you wear wigs?
Will you wear wigs? At some point, we had some stuff going. I don't know if we're jumping back into Princes right away. My enthusiasm is kind of spread across a lot of different things. I do. And if we come back, where's my fucking reverb? Hold on. Spoilers for the end of Princes. But a big reason that I wanted Princes to end in the way it did, even though I had a couple other ideas about how we could have done it, is that I wanted a lot of the players from our favorite games to have at least up in smoke whether or not their characters are in Somnus Dominant now, because I know it does mean a lot to people. Even if they never do, the idea that you could see that character again means a lot to some people. But if I do run again, it'll be in Somnus Domina, and we'll get up to some fun shenanigans.
And I hope I get to play.
I have a couple ideas, but I'm also distracted with VTubing stuff and other things.
Yep.
So we'll get her there. I do want it, but not in the short term, at the very least.
Yep. Again, question about the favorite soul. Does it only get resistance to damage type and spellcasting at level 1 and no real class features to level 2? Currently playing one. I noticed it was falling behind the base class. It's a 5e at level 1. You are the first person I've ever talked to who's been like, why is the favorite soul falling behind? I mean, at level 1, they get their first Cosmic Burden feature, so depending on whatever their subclass is, they get a different thing there. It just depends on which one it is. I mean, it's... Level 1's not really a benchmark for much of anything. Most classes don't get whatever makes them special till level 2 or 3. I don't know if I think if it has its D8 or what have you of hit points, and it has its couple of packed spell slots, I'm pretty sure it can be said that it is caught up with every other class. It is not falling behind anybody.
You let it marinate for a little bit,
yep.
But also if someone's feeling unsatisfied, I mean, you can interrogate that. We do have playtest feedback stuff, so if you have something that you think is an issue, by all means point it out.
Please
the better
submit
you
it.
can articulate it, obviously, the easier it is for us to kind of dissect where we can, or in this case, where Logan can make changes.
Yeah.
But you definitely gotta give it a go for a while and then keep on it. But yeah, level 1, that's a hard place for us to make any.
You get a couple
feedback.
spells and packed spell slots at level 1, and I think that in and of itself means that it's plenty caught up with every other class as far as my imagination goes. And again, it gets its subclass at level 1, so that's one of those. It really depends on what subclass you pick, because some will pop off and some won't, you know? Aaron, Kiss?
Hi.
Oh. Will you wear Kiss? When will you wear Kiss? I might just be out of the loop, so I'm sorry if this is answered. Has the fetus guide... The fetus, I assume that's setting, guide been shipped from the Kickstarter? We talked about that at the start of the session. Tariffs have held us up for a very long time, and we're close to printing, but the situation is also fucking volatile right now. So we feel bad about it.
Literally sometimes on a daily basis.
It's for 3 times in the past week.
Yeah, like sometimes we've talked about it, and I've been like, it can't, surely not on a daily basis. On a daily basis, some weeks. Sometimes it's on a weekly basis.
Yep.
If we're lucky, it's been like a monthly basis, but almost always it's, I don't know, there's someone that's angry today, and so now it would be several more $1,000 for us. We're like,
I told before you came in, Aaron, I was telling the story about how like we've talked to some other publishers, and like one of them told a story. It didn't mention the name of like how they had a book run ready to go and printed, and now it's just sitting in a fucking warehouse in Europe because they're like it would bankrupt them to like send it to America. And I'm like, yep, that's what we're avoiding.
Very scary.
The main thing that we're avoiding, that we've talked a little bit about internally, is the fact that we told everyone we would give risk and reward to everyone that did the first Kickstarter as well. And currently, we would have to pay the tariffs on those free copies of risk and reward that come in. So that's like one of the big things is there's this second product that we didn't charge anybody for that we would also have to pay tariffs on. So we're kind of navigating that volatile money sink. But I gave a tariff spiel earlier, so we'll try not to stick too much on that right now. The short answer is no. They've not shipped. It sucks.
Yeah, if you just stick around, we will be out with bells on when it is. We will not shut the fuck up about it, I promise.
You probably answered this question before and I just missed it. Will we ever get more Type Moon style content?
Yeah, we basically addressed
firm,
that.
But a soft no. Yeah.
Firm and soft.
We don't see ourselves doing anything else with Type Moon at this point, given a myriad of different things.
A firm and soft no. A boob of no.
Yeah. My DM often has power level issues with including Nat19 stuff in their games, thinks they're too strong. Other than this, they're amazing DM. Any advice on how to approach this? So I have a table that runs just basic D&D stuff, and some people at the table have used Nat19 stuff and they're new players, and some don't, and everyone basically ends up around the same level of ability. I think Nat19 stuff is written to like sound flashy and whatnot, and it's it's on the stronger end of base stuff. That's true, but I have yet to see a table that it broke that wasn't also misunderstanding or running it weird, or it wasn't bumping into house rules in a weird way. Like, I remember years ago somebody kicked up a thing with the Musashi Sword Saint in its original incarnation, and they were like, it's doing insane amounts of like kill Tiamat in one session damage, and I was like, or one turn damage. I was like, well, how's it doing that? And they're like, it's getting like 26 attacks, and each one of them is getting a crit, and each one is doing like 68 damage. And I was like, okay, let's run through those things. First of all, this text does not says you don't get that many attacks. What was that other stuff? And they're like, oh yeah, I also have like 2 artifacts that like let me crit on basically every hit. And also I have a short sword and a long sword that each do an extra 40, like 10 damage each. And I'm like, okay, well, I think there's a bunch of things going on here. I don't think that the class is necessarily causing all these issues. But
yeah, it'd be hard to assuage a DM that's usually, if a DM's apprehensive on the power creep that exists naturally in D&D, when you look at like newer stuff, even from official content versus vanilla stuff, there's some juicy vanilla stuff, but a lot of it, let's look at the Berserker Barbarian. It's kind of cheeks.
Yep.
I literally, anytime people run that now, I'm like, if you want to play it because it's cool, like the vibe is great, replace the exhaustion you get from it with combat fatigue. And it's just infinitely more playable. It's better.
Yep.
But there's not a ton you can immediately do other than ask them to give it a shot. I find in play, some of them are strong, sure. That's true, and if they have issues, then they have issues. But I as one of the most vanilla 5e players in Nat19, like I do typically pick pretty straightforward vanilla stuff. I think Desmond is my most Nat19y character I've played. I've never particularly felt left in the dust or anything. You know, there's characters that could kick my character's ass, but we shouldn't be fighting like that anyways.
Yep. It's and some stuff is just strong, and I also don't think that stuff being good is necessarily bad. I mean, I've always said, like, in a world where the paladin has aura of protection, in my opinion, the single most busted ability in base 5e. Most things in Nat19 don't.
Aura of protection.
Yeah,
so good.
I don't I mind it. I think it. I think it's too broad. That's, if anyone plays a paladin again in Nat19, I'm going to be like, please use the alternate version where the bonus like scales with your proficiency bonus, please. It's just because everyone that plays a paladin be like +5 charisma. Everyone now has a +5 to their saves, and it's like
Yeah, that's where you end up like Tagachi, where you're like, come closer.
Yeah. Even that, like, it doesn't upset me though. But imagine that feature didn't exist. And then imagine a third-party content added in a feature that was everyone near you gets a +5 to their saves, basically from the start of the game. Generally, people would look at that and be like, that's wild. That's crazy.
I
it's at the 14th or 11th level. I know a monk next to a paladin can't fail death saving throws except on a 1.
Yep. But as far as convincing your GM to use Nat19 stuff, some people just won't be convinced. Some people have had bad experiences with third-party content, and some people can find interactions that don't go well, and some people like more grounded stuff. The best you can do is to ask them to give it a shot, make adjustments if they want to, but to remember it's all in the spirit of fun. And also on you, if they do let you experiment with it, do your best not to min-max it, because why add pressure to the situation? You know what I mean?
This is a kind of a good way you can also look at it, like the DM is a player too, and while I think as long as my players are all having a good time, it doesn't bother me if a particular character is stronger than the others in another way, or if like someone has a very standout thing. I typically want people to stand out. I want them to have their things. So like Ajisai is a great DPS example.
Yep.
And that I didn't care. You know, it's like that's what they do. If people started being like, "Hey, I feel like I can't do anything," and Ajisai does everything, then I would have been like, hey, okay, we need to investigate how we can make this better.
Yep.
And that's usually not taking away Ajisai's thing. It'd be finding more things that they can feel involved with.
Yep. Think about... Go ahead.
But the same thing where UDM's also a player, and if they feel like they don't know how to balance for those things, then it's worth taking into account.
Yep.
But yeah, the only thing I could say is I urge them to give it a shot, trying things. It's really hard to get out of that. That's why especially around the end of Princes, I don't know if you watched it, but my mantra in a lot of the breaks and everything is 90% of the stuff I did was like, I don't know, fuck it. Like if someone asked me to do a thing, I'd be like, let's try it. I genuinely don't care. Let's give it a go as long as it doesn't sound insane, to the point that, spoilers, I made a player a god. Just to be like, I don't know, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
See where that goes.
Yeah, it's oh, I had something to say, but I've forgotten it now.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I didn't want to interrupt you. Yeah, just some GMs also have particular styles. And I find a lot of the times that like the Somnus Dominus stuff like really wrecks the table. There's definitely been times where stuff's been unbalanced, and I've tried to correct for that. But the times that I've seen tables be like, this sucked, it's usually some interaction with a house rule. So we can't account for that, unfortunately. We can only make stuff for the way that we play stuff. The thing is, my style of play, I also don't mind it when stuff's really strong, because if my players are like kicking my ass, I just take it as permission to be like, all right, well, I'm gonna do bigger, cooler encounters. I think the only time, in my opinion, and you kind of alluded to this, the only time that like players being too powerful really, in my mind, becomes an issue is when it's one person is excelling beyond the pack. Because then you get into, if you make everything bigger to match, they're the only one that will feel like they can keep up, and everyone else will be punished. Yeah. So I think that that's the balancing game ultimately.
Everyone's trying to avoid the Mystic.
I fucking hate
what it is. Like we play tested the Mystic. We let Maddie play it, and I found it to be generally true. The feedback across the board that the Mystic's problem is that it can do anything. Like literally anything. They had it's one ability that I'll never forget. It lets you swap out 2 proficiency for any proficiency, tools, languages, anything. Yep. And on its own, that's already insane. Like they can just be like, oh, we need to pick a lock. I know how to pick locks now. Give me that, and they can just do it.
Yep.
And so they can kind of get in on people's niches, which is already bad, but then add in the fact that back then and any other table, if you have newer players who are not great at sheet upkeep, you forget which ones you take away, and then maybe, and in this case it did happen, you end up with more proficiencies than you started with because you forget to get rid of some. And then suddenly you now have like 9 things you are proficient in, and you don't know what to get rid of, and it becomes a lot of labor on the DM's part to try and keep everything fun. Yep. And so that class crashed and burned. Like it was a really bad class on Wizards' part.
To be fair, it was only in UA. Like they hadn't committed to it yet. But yeah, bad experiment. Failed experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why they split it up into, 3 separate classes.
Which also then didn't really go much of anywhere.
Yeah, I think the Soul Knife is the only one that stuck around.
In my personal
big way.
opinion, the psionic stuff in 5e, I know that there's people that like it. It definitely didn't become a staple. Certainly not.
It's actually a weird tradition of D&D for psionics to always be bad.
Really?
In second edition.
Except for back when they were amazing.
In second edition, they were so horribly received that because it wasn't even like a class, you had to roll at character creation to be proficient with psionics.
Yeah.
And if you got like a super crazy lucky roll, then you were, but nothing had defense on it, and it had like a secondary combat system underneath all of second edition.
Oh, I love it when I'm playing a game.
Any player was doing that, they won because 90% of things were entirely vulnerable to it, and you just couldn't keep up.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, not a lot of advice on convincing people. Unfortunately, people that are wary of third-party stuff are hard to convince not to be. There's also a typical issue that comes that I kind of outlined earlier of when people see strong stuff in third-party content, they're usually like, oh, that might break the game. And they ignore the fact that there's a lot of overly powerful stuff. They ignore the fact that Meteor Swarm is ridiculous. Like, people, especially 9th level spells, I've seen people look at stuff, you're like, that does a lot of damage, and it's like, correct! It's an 8th or 9th level spell! It's supposed to be a thing you want to use! That if the big bad busts it out, it's their big move.
We always have to fight the idea to assume that the abilities will work as good as they can all the time. Because that is, every DM has a reflex, we're like, how much can that do? Because you just end up doing that kind of math a little bit because you get good at D&D, and you're like, oh god, you could blow up like those crazy, those like these CR50 death walls from 3.5. You could just kill those things.
Yep.
But then you realize that dice exist and people like Hayden exist who can't roll anything between a 1 and a 20. So sometimes it'll do great.
40 D8 sounds like a lot
will...
until you roll all 3s.
Yeah.
That good. But yeah, But yeah, so I won't linger too much on that. Just be cautious, remind them that you're out to have fun, and you want to do stuff for fun, and then don't stress test their patience. I guess that's where that is. What is your favorite subclass that you've written? Also love all your stuff. Subclass, so this is a different question than earlier. Favorite subclass I've written? I mean, I've written, I think like actual hundreds at this point. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but the Heavenbreaker Sword Saint is one that comes up a lot in my brain. But that's, I mean, if I co-opted Satanta as me, it says a lot about how I feel about that. But favorite subclass? That's hard. It's hard for me to think about all of them is the main issue. I think I might actually have to pass on that question. I don't actually think I can produce a concise answer for it. Let my brain go. Nah, I can't think of one. I could maybe do on a class-by-class basis, but even then. You know what? I'm going to say the Stellar Idol Bard from Zagaltas that's coming out. The Macross Bard. Done.
Bam.
If you recall, you said at the end of the GG's final stream that you were still waiting for confirmation on one of the players who would have time to be in the campaign. Any updates on that? And if yes, can you say who it was? Yeah, I can. I'm pretty sure that was Jonah Scott. And Jonah Scott has time. Jonah Scott, VA of Lego She, and many other things. Jonah Scott, VTuber under the fucking, I don't know if he goes around saying what his VTuber alternative is, but those of you who know Jonah Scott know.
It was not Jonah? No, it was Rachel, I believe.
Was it Rachel?
Yes,
was it
I think that was around when they had that big kind of crisis that kicked up that they
was that what it was? Okay, that's what we were talking about at that time. I can.
Yeah, because I know Jonah was public information by then. Like, it was that we didn't talk about it a ton, but we weren't keeping it a secret.
What is What is Rachel's last name? Well, I can, they might know them more by their VTuber name. I can Jubilee, Hayden streams with them all the time. It's them. How can I...
Yeah, big sweetie pie.
Yeah.
They're gonna do absolutely fantastic.
Yep. You guys will see them when they come into it. I really like their character. They're gonna... They're an energy that I don't see a lot in the games, so I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, it's also just new faces, you know. It's always nice to get more friends because behind the curtains, everyone, we have tons and tons of friends who want to play all the time. But with the cast being as big as it's historically been, the reason the split games even happened is because we're like, well,
yeah,
this cannot continue.
Yep.
So this has been a good chance to have a lot of people kind of get to throw their hats in the ring.
Oh, Vale, I just saw your question. It's going to be at the end of the list, and I'm going to have a slightly snarky answer to the way your question was formatted, so get ready for that. But back to the top of the list, I've managed to tie one of my players' backstory to Greg and the power he summoned into the old world. Will we get any new lore, more details regarding those two things? Maybe. Next question.
Yeah.
Any chance we'll get a book or more details on the Fae in Somnus Domina? Maybe. Next question. They'll come up as they come up, is the answer to that one. I don't plan to make the Fae book, but if we ever do stuff regarding Kahula specifically, then the Fae realm will be more involved. Would you consider making splash books? The splash books have a PDF of just the subclasses and races. I really want to show them off to my players, but don't want them to have access to the monster sheets in them. I used to do something like that, and I don't anymore. Because it means that every time we update anything in a book, we then have to update a bunch of additional documents.
Subversion of it. Yeah, there are ways to do that to your own PDFs, though. I know I have a friend who did exactly that.
Get like a PDF splitter or whatnot. You can even find free ones online and just chop up the PDFs yourself. I would recommend doing that. But unfortunately, with the amount of stuff that we release, it's just too much upkeep. They wouldn't be able to stay proper, and I apologize, but it is where it is. Boys, how'd you get your hair to be so lovely? I don't, I just wake up this way. Yeah.
Oh, I see a cute VTuber.
You see a cute VTuber.
Uh-huh.
How likely is a Strikelands book to happen eventually? Maybe. Next question. To most of the will you focus on this part of the world in a book, it's always just going to be if we can. I will say the way I'm handling books from now on isn't okay this continent, okay this continent, okay this continent. I'm probably going to be a bit more surgical about how I do them. The Strikelands is pretty low on my list though. Just because there's a lot going on there, but a lot of it is just these are the factions that are there. Everything mostly sucks. That's sort of the Strikelands. Is there anything that you wished was covered in Gilligan's Grave that wasn't? Honestly, no. We did all the stuff. I don't think there's anything that could have happened in Gilligan's Grave that I feel like we missed. With the exception of because Carrie stepped away, we didn't get a certain resolution with their mother. And they just sort of stayed in the crystal and stuff, and I had like art for that and everything. That's about it.
Yeah,
and it couldn't be avoided. It sucked. We didn't want to do that without them because it was their story to have told. But not really, overall. Do you have a favorite piece of SD lore that either party missed? Yes. Everything to do with the astral perceptory. Everything to do with it. The whole thing. The whole structure, everything in it, what it was for, all of it. It was in the top 5 most important buildings in the setting. And now it's gone.
Can't believe Fenris did this.
Can't believe Fenris did this. How you guys doing? Wanted to ask since 19's very close to my heart for getting through some really hard times. Wish you all the best. We're doing pretty good. Things have been a bit rough, but we're doing pretty good.
Tired balls. No, I'm doing all right.
It's also very nice to hear that we help you to cope in harder times. That's about all that we could ask for as
that
performers.
Shit always fucking juices me up. I found out recently that we are indirectly, at least I know my personal stream and Nat19 for sure is responsible for at least 2 marriages.
Right? Yeah. That's wild shit. Yeah.
That's fucking neat.
But yeah, we're doing pretty good. I think this time between campaigns is proving to be a little bit tiresome. We recently, and we made announcements on this, so you can go find them out, but we had an issue with one of our artists using AI that caused us to lose about a month of traction in replacing all of their work because we won't stand for that in our work. Stuff that we maybe could have caught earlier and didn't, and I just have to live with that. But we're going back and fixing that and are much more strict about it in the future. But beyond some just general business stuff like that, we're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good. It's nice for someone to ask, though. Nice to be asked. What?
Just see that. Wasn't someone else playing Fenders that session? I'm like, no. no, they were there. Then totally.
Well, where is this Dragoneer? I want to buy it. It's in Zygaltus. Next question. Is there a way to mainline Vestige into my brain more than 24 hours a day? Oh, Kicker, I don't know. I think that you do what you're gonna do, Kicker. I don't.
You go hard.
You've been going hard. You do your thing. Fucking. If it makes you feel better about JJ is not going to be reliant on watching Vestige. So when they come out, you can watch them without worrying about spoilers or anything.
Like I blinked and they were in Honokuni, and then I blinked again and I think they're out of Honokuni and into the cauldron, and I'm like, good damn.
Yep. Dang, when will Zygalta's Exolunar collection come to drive through your site? It is in the final phases of art being made for it and stuff being cleaned up, and the final proofreading passes. It's soon TM, but soon TM as in that soon is hard to quantify in an amount of time, but it's very close to its final shape. Kind of weird question because it's never come up and it's, a single subclass, but you ever thought about making new Battlemaster maneuvers? Not really. I don't really. I mean, I gave the fighter a bunch of extra options. I don't think about the Battlemaster. I don't assume they think about me. Will there ever be an Artificer equivalent in 5.19? Could be. I don't know. I can't promise there will or won't be. It could be made as a bunch of subclasses for different things, and there could be a techie.
It's not as artificery, because I think artifice involves the creation of magical items, and there's a bunch of little asterisks around that, but the core kind of vibe is I fuck with magic items specifically. Yep. The closest you really get is Clover subclass. Kind of does that.
The Technoscope.
It's not the same, but it is very adjacent. Like it definitely tickles the rim of that.
Someday I might get inspired to make a mech or tech-based class. Or I may just continue making them as subclasses. I can't really say which will happen. It really depends on what way my brain pulls me. I don't typically make classes unless I have a very solid core idea that feels like it's larger than a subclass. So we'd have to see. What has been, or potentially something yet to come, theme or style of homebrew? Ah, here we are. Third party. I rally so hard against it being called homebrew. It's homebrew if it's at your table. If you make it for your table, it's homebrew. If someone else made it outside the table, it's third party. Anyway, now that I've criticized how you asked your question, style of homebrew.
I was wondering. I was like, I don't know. And I'm like, oh.
For example, how the splash books have been themed around luck, martial prowess, dark power. So, what has been, or potentially something yet to come, theme or style? I don't understand the syntax of the question. Are you asking what we're... Okay, Aaron, I'm going to read this out loud. And I want you to... I'm not trying to criticize. Maybe you can make sense of it for me. What has been, or potentially something yet to come, theme or style of homebrew to make? For example, how the splash books have been themed around luck, martial prowess, dark powers, elemental, and so on.
So yeah, they're saying like Lana's Fate will all just theme around love and luck and things like that.
Yeah. I get the question. I get the examples part.
So I guess they're saying, is there any themes that you've you've kind of had in the back of your head that you wanted to make? There's something either that you have working on or that you'd like to work on
the next
as a
bunch,
broader concept.
The next bunch of books are all based on the Eidolons and parts of Cthulhu and the divine beast gods. So they're more just about things that kind of leak down. They're kind of like take an Eidolon, and then I'm going to disseminate from like what is their vibe and what are the things that might be related to them. Like this next one is kind of Lushu and Kitsadria stuff. There's a lot of things I want to do. I want to do like a full DGR book that is full of the DGRs we've made from everything, as well as alt versions of all of them. So there's just a little micro DGR book. I would love to do, I want to do a dragon themed book where I kind of reinvent D&D dragons and make them more Somnus Domina, like in their entirety. There's a bunch of ideas I have, but a big part of my job, I think, is taking the impulsive ideas that I think just well up in my brain as would that be cool, and filtering them out and fucking colonizing them into which of these could actually make something neat. I say that despite the fact that the splash books, which have been a success, I think people have liked them, began as me and our social media manager joking, what if I made a bunch of kind of horny subclasses for Valentine's Day? And then...
Yep, that basically was it.
And then I couldn't not make it into a project, and did. And then it became our business model. So I have a habit of making things into more than they... To be fair, I want to use the splash books to constantly explore the gods that are only listed in the other books and not expanded on. So that's kind of something I'm always keeping in mind. Ba-boom. So that's that one. If you did a
I'm not sure what question you asked, but it's no longer on the list, so it did get answered earlier, or at least passed by it.
Who asked?
Azraelius.
I don't remember. I haven't been reading the names out.
We've been blasting through them as they came up, so it is in there somewhere. I don't know if it was a long answer.
It might have been. It might have been one of the ones where I was like, maybe.
Yeah, it might have just been possibly.
If you did a sub-fantasy campaign, like steampunk or cyberpunk, etc. I mean, the JJ is going to kind of explore that techno-fantasy vibe, like a Season 2 of Gurren Lagann sort of vibe is what we're going to be kind of going for in that one. So, yeah, we're going to
have a cyberpunk campaign as like a side thing cooking. It was literally going to be a cyberpunk campaign. That's currently on the back burner and is likely not going to happen anytime soon.
Yep.
But it's something we've thought about. I've thought about running cyberpunk a ton of times. I love the themes there.
Yep. Where did Satanta get the scaled arm he wears on his left arm? Oh, you're referring to this guy. So it's in their lore. You can read up on it. Satanta, the Heaven Breaker, in their early days, they found the armor and weapon of a monumental, and they restored what pieces of it they could, which is why they have some armor chunks from they have the greaves and belt and whatnot from a monumental. And they also have the red arm, which corresponds to Haros, because they salvaged it from that armor. They didn't know what it was, but they salvaged it, and it just became part of what they have. So, despite the fact that Satanta is also an idolic deity, the red armor he wears on his left arm is an indirect reference to Haros, because it was taken from one of their people, one of his servants. He didn't know that at the time, though. It was just, he just found it. Again. One second. Yeah, I haven't used this one yet today, so I gotta ponder the universe.
I just dwell in this while you ponder the universe. Because I need to compliment your username. God damn it, why?
That's good.
Appreciate that. They were just lamenting that we don't have as much lore and monster focused stuff, and they said that obviously classes and things are big on content, but they do really, really love the DM focused things that you put out, which I've mixed things on. It's not a question or anything. It's just an observation they made. I'm like, hell yeah. I mean, we talked earlier about maybe doing I literally just, here is a spell book, here is a bestiary, and that's as the volume of content that Logan hyper focuses and blasts out to the detriment of his own health swells. We're gonna have more options to create strictly focused things that would be DM tools and things like that.
Yeah. Why is the Arthanary so cool? Because it's a plane dedicated to dragons, and also Mirlak lives there. So, that's
it's
why.
pretty based.
Yeah. Do you have any neat lore about Mirlak, and how likely a favored soul would be blood-related if very distantly? They could be. All gods could have kids.
Did you hear about he lives in a plane filled with dragons?
Yeah, he lives in the fucking Arthanary. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, any god could have happened to have a kid. Any god could or could not fuck. I don't really care. It depends on what the story needs. They've been around a while. I'm sure they got up to some shit at some point.
D&D, the quantum fucking of anything.
There's a few places where a few god, like Ito, is like, well, he's sort of just like this nebulous concept of impartiality, so he probably doesn't fuck. But I mean, if you decide he does, who am I to tell you? Any neat lore about them, though, would be... I don't think there's any lore directly about a descendant of them, unfortunately.
Don't fuck Scorn.
He'd be a... Yeah, don't fuck Scorn. He'd be a pretty deadbeat dad, though. I'll tell you that much. When the campaign started, did you have the consequences of Honokuni, time shenanigans, and its potential in mind as events were unfolding, or was that something that was retroactive? I knew what would happen time-wise when it ended. I had no plans regarding what anything would be implied. I did not originally intend for Sa'un to be at Gilligan's Pit. That was a retroactive fun narrative decision to put, you know, to do world-building stuff. Obviously, I had no decisions about what would happen with Semrai before the players got involved, because I don't like to, you know, plan that kind of stuff. But I knew where everyone would be let out, and I had a general idea of what the consequences of individual people going home with individual ideas was. But, so, you know, general, yes. I knew the consequences of what Honokuni stuff would do. Since I've had time to stew, I saw this one earlier. Since I've had time to stew, with the favorite soul, why do some of the subclasses only offer resistance and the others offer features and resistance? Your question goes on to offer examples. You're not going to like the answer. The answer is because they're different. There's no method to it. Some of them are worse, some of them are better, some of them correspond to gods that are more powerful, some of them correspond to gods that aren't, some of them are built for specific ideas, some of them are built to be minimalist and pop off later. I think any assumption that I don't build things with the idea of everything being exactly equally useful or powerful in mind. It's just not part of my ethos. I build things mostly so that they can be played, and so they feel a certain way. And if they check those two boxes, then I'm good with them. And you know, and by the first point, largely meaning like, can they be played in a way that doesn't ruin a table? So like, the favored soul having some subclasses that are better than others at first level, it's just because it is the way it is. It's just because that's
It's
the way.
also,
Yeah.
you've talked about divinity. This, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just kind of vamping off of a thing here. You've talked about how like becoming a god is a deeply personal thing for anyone who has ever done it.
Yeah.
And that the feeling should be very unique to anyone, and so the classes themselves all being a bit different is, I think, also reflective of that kind of ethos. And that if they were all the exact same thing, then being the favorite soul of a god it wouldn't be fully meta narrative, like it wouldn't feel bad per se, but it wouldn't feel as unique as the favored soul I think is intended to be, because the favored soul is a deeply, deeply unique thing. There should only be one of each, you know, typically.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it's an unfortunate answer that's probably not all that satisfying, but the answer is just because they're all meant to feel different, and sometimes that means they have less starting out, and sometimes it doesn't. They're not all meant to be equal, and I don't really intend them to be. I don't think there's anything to be gained from the idea that I don't personally engage with D&D from the perspective of I want to be the strongest, so I don't write for people that think that way. I know some people do think that way.
Strongest.
I just don't.
Yeah, we have friends who do.
Yeah.
I think that there is a balance to be struck, which is actually hilarious, because a balance to be struck in the pursuit of balance is
I'm very specific when creating spells and things of like, if it's 4th level, I'm going to look at 4th level spells across the board from vanilla and our third party content and be like, what is reasonable here? But you break the mold sometimes. But I think that the pursuit of balance has in some cases done quiet harm to creativity in some places, and I think this is a chance to jump out and stuff. And I'm also maybe not a perfect example because I will play underpowered characters or classes because I just think they're interesting. And I know that's not the mold for everyone, but everyone plays differently, and I think having that is
different tables want different things. Some tables don't like to role play as much. Some do. Some tables think the mastermind rogue is like fucking stupid, and others are like, but imagine all the fun you could have. You know what I mean?
I literally nearly multi-classed into mastermind rogue as Desmond.
I am as a person, I mostly make what I would love to use or see people use. I am simultaneously someone who makes something like the favorite soul, but also the kind of person who had a shit ton of fun playing a basic champion fighter, which a lot of people like give me shit for, and they're like, well, it's boring. And I'm like, why is it boring? I'm playing. If I'm having fun, I'm having fun. Like I don't need mechanics. I can have fun on either end of the spectrum. I think a lot of it has to do with as long as your table's in for it and as long as you're not shutting the game down. But I digress. That's my answer to that question. What's both of your opinions on players playing monsters, dragons, literal demons, etc., but adjusted for balance? I can't say I have an opinion on that. I haven't thought about it very much, and I haven't done it. Really. I haven't had a player play a dragon, I don't know, do you have any thoughts?
You nearly did once. Yeah, I typically, if a player asked to do that, I would need to get why. Like, I would be like, what's the story we're trying to tell here? Let's walk it there. Usually if I'm pitching a campaign with my players, there's a setting and there are things that people will react to with it. So like Eric is a great example of, they usually want to play esoteric races. They really, really like the things that exist in the fringes of D&D. They like their lizard folk. They like their dragon kid. They don't. They find playing a human boring, and so just not being a human, I'm like, we have tons of options. But if they wanted to be like specifically a bugbear, I have bugbear as a race now, so not even. If they wanted to be a dragon, if they wanted to be like a remoraz or something, and I'd be like, okay, so you can't go to town. Like, like there's some of them you just like that. I would either have to bend the world to fit them having the kind of fun they want, which I'm not always against. But sometimes I'm like, you are at the realm where this will make your gameplay for you and the party more difficult. And so there's a lot of talks around it, and I will usually be like, if you can think of something else, I would probably push for it. But if it's all they want, I'll try and make it work, but more often than not, I do feel like it causes more trouble than it gives fun, because typically, like with people who want to play Deadpool in 5th edition or whatever, when they're trying to make that build, when someone wants to be one of those monsters, they want to have all of the things that come with being those monsters. And, if you're starting a campaign at level, let's say 3, and they're a dragon, that, I don't know, you have some lore, they got shrunk down to the size of a baby dragon, and they have to build their power back up so they can be an ancient dragon again. They could roleplay that just well enough, but sometimes people will not care, and that might fuck with their fantasy of what that is. And I want to make sure that me and my players are as close to simpatico on all of the ideas and beats that they hope their character can hit. Because if they don't get that, typically, it'll break their heart a little bit. I don't want that. So I don't want my players to set themselves up for failure, because why like, if I see the cliff up ahead, I'm going to try and steer them away from it. So more often than not, I'm not for it. I don't think it's worth the trouble. But in select instances, or if that is the plan from the get-go and everybody's on board and that's what we want, that can be the story you tell. And as long as everyone signs up for that story, rock on, do it. Sounds fun. Like, you can only try, right? The only thing you can do is try and be open about it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And you have to be open to the idea that it might not on both fronts.
Yeah. I have paused redemptions because we're coming up on 2 hours, and I think I see a light at the end of the tunnel. I'd like to sign off kind of soon. So we're gonna get through the redemptions that are left, and then we're probably gonna take off. I will probably throw this video up on the main YouTube channel so people know what's going on and like can give feedback there. And if anybody in chat has thoughts on the business plan that we have proposed that you can see, if you have any thoughts or questions, feel free to leave them on the YouTube video. And if we can, we'll get back to you. No promises. We'll try to respond if we have any further questions, but hopefully if you've made it to this point in the video, your questions have been answered. Aaron, just so you know, people seemed largely positive about the idea. I didn't see anyone that didn't like the idea. People seem to be in favor of supporting this business model. But we will see how we go. All right. What's both of your... Oh, that's one we just did. Does the cappy on your shoulder have a name? This guy. I guess I'm pointing at me right now and not at him. Is he looking? Maybe. Maybe that's Logan. This is Satanta. Maybe that's Logan. How do you know I'm not the capybara? You don't know. Large size cappy
There's
hot
a toggle you can get. A toggle to switch the mouth flaps.
the capybara. Large size cappy hotto sub race when I'll think about it. Do you have a favorite Somnus Domina crack ship?
With your rare pairs, as Brent would
Do
say.
you?
Me?
Yeah.
Crack ships. No. I wish I had a more interesting answer. Most of the things I'm interested in come from the perspective of playing Mariam. And then all of the other ones, like even when I was playing Desmond, I don't know, people were into the character Desmond was like, Desmond was into Leona, and that was going to go nowhere. Like that was doomed.
Yep.
And then Pepper was kind of into Desmond. That's not really a crack ship. That was just a ship.
Yep. We got to stop
So there's
fridging our
none with
straits.
there, right? None of the crazy ones. 'Cause, yeah, some of them were just ships. They weren't even really crack ships. Like people shipping fucking. I just had a massive brain fart. Why can I not remember her name? She was a huge part of our day to day. Leona's sister.
Montheris?
Yeah, Montheris. I don't know why I couldn't remember her name.
Arguably the most iconic villain of fucking the
Montheris and like Skarn. But I'm like, that's not a crack ship. If someone was like Moontheris and Desmond, or Moontheris and like Edrigan, that's where I'd be like, that's wild. I probably wouldn't like it, but I'd be like, that's a crack ship. So when I think about that kind of ship, I'm like,
you not remembering
not a ton
Moontheris' name caught me so off guard. I was genuinely like, you can't
That's
be
why I was
talking about Moontheris.
I was like, it's ridiculous that I wouldn't. Hey, Namir got a sub. Yeah, it fucking. Clearly, I'm a little stupid today.
You're not stupid.
A little, just for the last.
You're
50
silly.
seconds.
You're full of pancakes.
Full of pancakes.
Oh, that place is good.
But I don't even know enough crack ships.
I know my answer.
What's your answer?
Aviana Diane.
Nice.
Yeah. Hayden feels
good.
the same way. We've talked about it a few times. It's just this fucking weird side, like there's no way it would ever happen, but like, especially like pre-Rory, they both have needs to get laid energy, and they're both kind of like, I do crime, but I don't really want to do crime. And I want to be specific, not Aviana Red, Aviana Diane.
Yeah.
There's maybe some art that has been silently passed around between the two of us regarding this. Fucking, it's a yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Y'all fucking send me your crack ships and I'll tell you if they suck or not. But I don't know enough of them. That's the kind of the only one I can think of, and it's because you told me.
Yep. Again. And do you have any plans for Amnesis, or is that plot point currently on hold till Vestige Part 2 Season 2? JJ will probably not deal with Amnesis in any form. That is Probably something we're only going to revisit when we get back to Vestige.
The way you fuck it all up for everybody is Jay just starts like, it's a good thing those people, whoever they were, solved that amnesis.
Good thing amnesis has been solved,
shit.
but pity about the tragedy. Yes, Orzov, I said I was turning off the AMA things a bit earlier.
Yeah, we're gonna be wrapping soonish.
they're
We got
paused.
about 6 more questions. I guess 5 more after this one.
Yeah, because we want to wrap up. In a wish fulfillment concept of GG getting an animated show akin to Mighty Nine, and you had full control over who were some of the VAs, who do you think would best fit some of the main NPCs in the campaign, like So'un or Kathos? That's a really good question, and unfortunately I don't think I'm creative enough at this exact moment to really answer it that well.
Dig into that one. That's a whiteboard talk.
Yeah, that's one of those like, oh, but this person, oh, but I love them. I mean,
Because he has to be in everything we ever cast. Keith David as Dendron.
yeah, as Dendron.
Yeah, him trying to do
We
the
can see him looking at
cattywampus
you, Cattywampus.
fucking gold.
Fucking, that would be wild. That'd be fun. Yeah, I don't have any main suggestions right now. Might make a whole thing out of that at some point, but don't know at the exact moment. I have some ideas, but I haven't put enough thought into it for any of it to be really that interesting. Matt Berry is Gotham.
Scott,
I like to join with you to defeat Ethicus. Represents a greater evil than any of us combined. We'll shelve that one. I'm sorry we're not going to dig into it too much. It's mostly because I want to wrap up and get some other stuff done tonight. Did Death and Honokuni overweight? I know what you mean by that. Planar anchor, like is Jakku dead, or did they go back to the plane of fire when Honokuni fell? They died. Anyone who died that was like... While you are in Honokuni, you are not anchored. If you are a fiend in Honokuni, you are no longer anchored to the hells. If they died there, they died. Their soul then became part of the mechanism. When you're in a place like that, your connections to the outside do not exist, and you do not float around freely, and then when it opens, you go back. You simply die. You are done. It is over. If you were to play a bard, what instrument or art form would you use in order to cast your spells? Well, as being this guy right here, it'd be a fucking electric guitar, and it would be an electric guitar a la how Death Stranding 2 do, and if you don't know what I mean by that, don't worry about it, and if you do know what I mean by that, you know what I mean by that.
No, hear me out. The electric triangle.
The electric triangle. What would that sound like?
I think it exists.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
What does that sound like?
Triangle.
You search that up. His answer was electric triangle, everybody. Last 2 questions. Emerald made a spell for one of their characters' familiars. Is that in any of your... No. Nothing Emerald has made in any of the books. I'm not familiar with what you're talking about, but nothing. Emerald has not contributed. Everything in all of the books, with the sole exception of the Empowered Familiar spell, which is going to be in Zagalta's, was all written by me. Some of it was inspired with some co-writing, helping to get the ideas, but I wrote everything that's in them currently. And with the Empowered Familiar spell, the basis of it was the one that Eric and Aaron made, but I did go through and revise it, and I did rewrite it for Zagalta's.
Yeah, which is entirely appropriate, given
Yeah.
that it was functional, but it was functional enough.
Is that what you guys are
I just
thinking
needed
of? When you said Emerald, did you mean Eric? Are you asking about that spell? They are. They were asking about Empowered Familiar. It's in Zagalta's, but I remade it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's in Zagalta's as Empowered Familiar, right?
Yes. Currently it is. Final question, and it's an easy one to answer. Also, I didn't know the stream was happening, so sorry if y'all covered this at the top, but beyond the book and Patreon stuff, are we still going to be between main shows for a while, or, sorry again, I'm a couple episodes behind. That's okay. We are currently, the plan is that JJ is right now looking to start on April 18th. That's not a promise, but it is the date that we're looking. It's the date that we've internally agreed to. So unless an emergency happens, we're starting on April 18th. The continuation of Gigi, which is going to happen. It's going to have a different name, but that is the continuation of the Skarn and Lilia story. We don't quite know yet, but it will. And that is all of our questions. I encourage everybody to check out everything that's over here. I encourage everybody to react to the business plan, to tell us how you feel about it, tell us what kind of things you might want to come from it without complicating it. I encourage everybody to ponder the universe. And with that, I think we're going to end stream. Aaron, find us somebody to raid.
Sure, I can do that. Ending soon, I know, because we're gonna get fucked up.
Oh, Anna's live, apparently.
Yeah, sure. If they're still going, we can just blast them.
Let's throw it at them.
We do like a squeakums around here.
Yeah. We're gonna send you all towards them. And we'll try to get a few. We'll try to to fucking part of the universe. I gotta get Tanta emotes made. I feel like I need to do that. Everybody, I'll try to do maybe another one of these sometime as a follow-up, especially since it's a bit before JJ starts. Sorry there hasn't been much on the channel. We've been between things. We've been trying to clean up that AI debacle. Say hi to Anna. Tell him to ponder the universe.
I can't hit send raid. It's blank.
I also can't hit send raid.
The timer's going down.
I also cannot hit it.
Well, anyways, there's the raid message, everyone. It gives you more time to copy that. I guess we'll just vamp for like the next minute because
why isn't it letting us do it?
That's just counting down. is real weird. Real strange. We can click on this as well. Just swing on. But can I do it from this menu? I can see it. 9 seconds. All right. Well, I was going to try and accelerate this, but it's at least working. So we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.